Okay, what's going on, everybody? We are back for another episode of Finding Your Niche with Niche. I have the pleasure and the honor. I'm super excited to speak with you today. Welcome to the show. We have Mr. MPR Riche Rich on the show, so welcome.
What's good?
What up, though?
What up, though? She knows something. Don't play with
Okay,
her.
what up, though? From Detroit. Super happy to have you on today to talk about basically how you found your niche in music. And rapping. So let's just dive right in. So like we just said, what up though? If you know, you know. You're from Detroit.
Yes.
But you're here now in Atlanta. When I was doing my research on you, actually, you kind of have like a rags to riches story, which I'm always really fascinated by people who can achieve that, to be able to come from something and make something of their lives. But so one of the things that I was just like really, really surprised from your upbringing is that you were in the military.
Yeah, I was. I did 2008 to 2013.
Okay. And can you talk a little bit about your upbringing and what led you to join the military?
Well, I grew up in Detroit, and while growing up, I moved from different place to place. I went to Omaha, Nebraska. I went to Kalamazoo. I went to Battle Creek, and just a multitude of different places. And it showed me a lot of different environments, different people, different things. So when I was about like 17, 18, that's when I got introduced to the military. One of the females I was dating at the time, her cousin was in the military, and he had came home and he introduced us to it. And he was like, yo, I think y'all should try this, you know what I'm saying, change up your environment, do something different. It's a good lifestyle. Y'all can make a good career out of it. And I was curious, so I was like, yo, you know what I'm saying, let me try this. And my best friend, he was talking about doing it with me and everything. So they basically presented it to us, and they told us all the criteria that we needed to do and what have you not. And like I had tattoos on my neck and stuff, and they was like, oh, that's something you're gonna have to remove. And I was like, what?
Wow.
I don't know if I was ready for that, but when I jumped into it, I was like, hey, why not to change my lifestyle, change my environment? So I did it, and I removed my tattoos and I joined, you know. So it was like a better lifestyle. It was like do something different. So I was ready to do something different.
And when you say better lifestyle, better environment, can you kind of expound on what it was like growing up where you grew up?
Yeah, it was to me it was normal, but as I got to going other places and talking to other people and really understanding like what it was really like, you know, from another person's perspective, it was rough at the end of the day, because you don't know what's rough if you're living in it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, because you're just a product of your environment. You're just moving day to day, and you begin to learn habits and do certain things according to the lifestyle and the environment you're in. So as I got older and as I started seeing different things, I was like, dang, we really had it rough in a certain area, because just Detroit alone, like it's its own world. Like, you can be a lot of places, but it's really nothing like Detroit. So it taught me a lot of different things, and I think that's why I'm able to move and go about life today as I am, because it showed me so many different things as far as the street life and different moving with different subjects and different environments, to whereas now it's like it's easy for me to move around. I know certain rules, I know certain regulations, I know do's and don'ts to the street life, which a lot of people don't even get it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's common sense to me, but to people who was in a different environment or just raised in a certain background or went to certain schools and went through certain things, they wouldn't know what it was like to have done that stuff. So when it comes to that part of the street smarts, that's where I get more of my able to move and be frequent and move so normally, you know what I'm saying, whether it's this or that type of situation. So that's kind of where that comes from.
And we have to talk about this aspect of your life, because I just find it so fascinating and interesting. So you get out of the street life to join the military, but then you actually end up bringing the street life to the military.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that whole situation, and then more importantly, what you actually learned from it?
Right. The main thing with that was, you know, you see opportunity to to get away and to make a better future for yourself. And whether you want to believe it or not, like, things happen. So you get in certain situations and you get around certain things, and certain things pop up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if you know it, you know it. And it's like, okay, so what originally had happened was I ended up getting hurt because I was airborne and I was jumping out of planes. So I ended up getting hurt, and then I ended up getting introduced to opiates. So it was like, okay, let me get on this because it was for medical. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, it was to help me. And then after I started noticing, like, this really isn't for me, then people would be like, yo, let me just get your stuff. So I was giving it away at first because I was just like, all right, whatever. But then after so long, it was like, I seen the need. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And people was like, yo, could you get this for me? And I'm like, hold on, now y'all making me do some work. You know what I'm saying? It's not just me giving it to you because you my boy or because I know you or whatever. And then it turned into a whole situation where it was like, it was a whole operation, and it one thing led to another, and next thing I knew, like, it was just, it was.
Can you talk numbers? At that point, you started picking up steam. You started making about what? What'd you say, like a month? Being the plug.
It was like upwards to 30,000, 40,000.
Wow.
A month, like, easily. That's like a bad month type situation.
Do you think you would have stopped if you didn't get caught?
No, I know I wouldn't have, because there was no reason to stop. I wouldn't be here doing no interview. I wouldn't be rapping. I wouldn't be doing none of that because it's his own lifestyle. It's like asking a basketball player, would you, if you had a chance to do football, would you? It's just like you was doing that. You know what I'm saying? So there was no reason. Nothing was broken.
Yeah.
To me, you know what I'm saying? It was like everything's fixed. What am I doing?
But so there was no point where you felt like the actual risk or realized like the actual risk that you were taking doing that in the military?
I really didn't, because all the way up until like the very last minute, I still was saying I was innocent and saying that I wasn't doing anything wrong. Like, it took me being locked up for like 9 months on pretrial confinement. This is like, before you go to trial, before you do anything, I was still in denial, like heavily, like I didn't do anything wrong. But because to me, I came from an environment that I didn't really comprehend how much wrong it really was at the time. But it was like, nah, you was really messing up. But I mean, when you come from something like that, you tend to look at things and say, it's accepted. You know what I'm saying? And if this is what you're accepting, then that's what reality is. You know, we all know right from wrong, but it was a point of it being like, yo, this is how I'm providing for my family. This is how I'm providing for my friends. This is how I'm living the life that I'm living. Like, it became normal, even though it was wrong. It was like that was normal. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's even to the point when it's music, it's like, people be like, well, what if you talked about this in your music versus that? You know what I'm saying? It's like, is the music that is mainstream drill music and stuff like that, is it wrong? Yes, if you're talking to the certain people that you're talking about killing people, you're talking about selling drugs, you're talking about using drugs. Is it wrong? Yes, to a certain person. But is it culturally accepted? Is everybody listening to it? Is everybody doing it?
Right.
Yes. So then it's that, where are you coming from with it? You know what I'm saying? So it gets complicated, and I was in a complicated situation to where, I'm gonna be honest, I literally was like, I'm not doing nothing that's harming nobody. I'm not killing nobody. I'm not doing anything in that nature, but not really looking at the back end of the damage that you're doing to the community, that you're doing to the soldiers and all that type of stuff. If you don't pay attention to that and you don't recognize it for what it's worth, you literally is moving like it's not an issue, you know, and that's how I was moving.
Yeah. And so after that circumstance, what would you say was your biggest takeaway?
The biggest thing that I learned from that was pay attention to what you're doing and how you're doing it, because a lot of times, like I said, you become a product of your environment. It turned from me helping somebody out to a whole full-blown operation that it was like, it got out of control, and I didn't know how to control it because I was the one that was supplying it. It was like, if you're not getting it from me, then who are you getting it from? You know what I'm saying? And even when I left, somebody else had to step in that role because the role didn't die out.
Yeah.
It just changed the person.
Right.
Did that person go through the same thing that I did? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I never went back to research that, but I'm 100% sure it didn't stop because it's a lifestyle. And if there's people in that lifestyle, there's always going to be people that were going to play my role.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how that went.
Right. And if we fast forward today, speaking of lifestyle, you're living in the moment.
I am.
That's so exciting. Which is also your single that you dropped this year, "Live in the Moment."
Yeah.
Can you talk about that song and why you decided to write it?
With that song, the main thing is like, and a lot of people don't know about me, is that it fits where I'm at in life right now. You know what I'm saying? And even when I was presented to certain people, they was like, yo, you should maybe wait till you get a certain platform, or you should do this, or you should do that. But they don't really understand all that I've been through to be here to even say I'm living in the moment. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of the times people look at things for, it's supposed to be at this certain level, you're supposed to be doing this, but it's like, I'm going to be honest, I've been in my bag for a while now. You know what I'm saying? There's still more people to capture. There's still more people to learn who I am. There's still more people to know me. But at the end of the day, everything that's said in that song and everything that you feel from that song is, who could say I didn't make it? You know what I'm saying? Being from where I come, just making it out of the city that I'm from. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think that's interesting.
This song's 5-10 years old, if that's the case. You know what I'm saying? It's like, there's never enough being able to say you made it. You know what I'm saying? And then to tell my grandmother I made it, the reason why that part came into it was because it's like, I know a lot of people that may not like their mother. I know a lot of people that may not like their father. I know a lot of people that may not like their cousin, their aunt. But I don't know a soul on this earth that don't like their grandmother. And that's real hard for somebody to deny that part of it. And that resonates with almost anybody in the world.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
I have
true.
great relationships with both of my parents, with all my cousins, with all my aunts. But this song wasn't about me. This song was for the world and for the people to be like, yo, I can resonate with this. I love this. And that's what it was about. I needed to find that niche that people love.
And I like that, too, that you kind of celebrate where you are and the different successes that you have already accomplished thus far. What would you say has been your favorite success so far?
My biggest success would probably being able to understand, like, a family man. Like, there's a lot of things that I do, but there was a point in time where a letter meant something to me when I was in prison. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, just to be around people again that love me, to have a family, to move in a certain direction, that's more success than anything that I can really account for. I done been around so many people, you know what I'm saying, from celebrities to millionaires to billionaires. I've been in certain rooms that people would die to go in these rooms. Like, all of that's cool, but at the end of the day, I gotta look at why I jumped in this bag and why I said I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do was for my family.
And I really love that too, because especially like with the industry that you're in, you don't see that too often. Like, I see that you wear your wedding ring a lot. You really put on for your wife a lot and your family and your kids, and it's very, very obvious that you care about them. And that's one thing that I do really admire about your brand and about who you are, because it's so important to let people know who's important to you, right? Because it takes a village.
Exactly.
Can you talk about a little bit more on, like, the importance, I guess, of having a wife and what that has done for you so far?
Yeah, no, definitely. The main important thing about it is that a lot of people don't get, and this is why you see a lot of single relationships. This is why you see a lot of independent people rooting for independence and all of this stuff. Even when it comes to music, you hear people rooting for independence, but they don't realize it takes a team for this too. But I feel, and what I've learned and the things that I've been through at this point in my life is like, in order to succeed and to have this oneness and to love yourself and to love somebody else, you got to have God first. And once you learn how to love God, that's something that's not tangible, or something that you can't just be like, hey, talk to me when you want to, you know what I mean? It's something indifferent. Once I learned that part, then I was able to love myself.
Right.
After I was able to love myself, now I'm able to give love to other people. And that's where your family comes into play. Is like, who has your better interest than your family? You know what I'm saying? And that's what you want out of anything. You want somebody that has your best interest, that you can go to lean on, that you can go to celebrate with. People try to be like, nah, I like this independent, I like to be single. That's cool, and I lived that life, and I've done it. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't nothing that I didn't do in that area. But at the end of the day, to have somebody to confide to have somebody to console with, like, there's no other thing that matches that. You know what I'm saying? Having that tangible person, and that's what comes second to God. It's like, you got somebody who you can call on and you can talk to, and he talks back too.
Yeah.
But having somebody physical, that's why people have therapists. That's why people have relationships. That's why people have all these other things, because they need you as a human being. You need someone that's in your life that you can talk to. And when you have that at home, I don't see how you can get it any better. Like, that's where that became like a big part of me, because like I said, I've done everything I could have done as a single individual, but I know that it takes a team. And without a team, I don't care what you're doing, you can't
get so far.
You can't go to these levels. Like, people see the success in what I'm doing, and they still don't even catch that it's like, oh, he has a wife. Oh, he has a family. Oh, he moves in a certain direction, because they don't want to account that family, that wife, that lifestyle to my success, because they're like, they got to where they got to without it. But if they got where they got without it, if they would have had that, they would have went way bigger. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's just from my opinion. It's just what I know. I may be wrong to somebody else's lifestyle, but for me to be comfortable, to be understanding, to learn, to grow, you need a partner. I mean, Adam didn't do it by himself. You know what I'm saying? We didn't come from nothing. You know what I'm saying? It took two, and that's why I think that most people, they don't realize why they're even here. Without two people, you would not be here.
Exactly.
Did those two people live a lifetime together? That's up in the air. We don't know that. Everybody don't last, and they don't make it live to that point. But if you know that it took two to be here, then you would know that a family is very important.
And I think too, like, with what you're saying, obviously the family and having somebody to confide in and kind of push you and propel you forward in your success is one thing, but to a certain degree, you have done a lot of the heavy lifting to get yourself to where you are now. You said something on your Instagram recently that really rung with me, and I want you to expound on it. But you said, if it comes easy, it leaves easy. Can you talk
definitely
a little bit about, like, the importance of work ethic and, like, being able to really grind and longevity in your career?
No, definitely. That's so powerful, because a lot of people don't realize it. Like, if you go through history, or if you go through even your own lifestyle, you know what I'm saying, and you look at things that came easily, or you know people that got things easily. I don't care if it's $1 million or $10. Those is two different ballparks. But if I gave you $10 or I gave you $1 million, and you didn't do no work for it, you don't respect it at all. To the point that I respect it if I worked hard for it and then I gave it to you. I'm looking at it, if it's $10 or $1 million, like, man, I just had to do X, Y, and Z to get this, to even give this to you. Now, whether you go spend it on something that's worth spending it on, or something that is just frivolous, that's on you. But 9 times out of 10, if it was just given to you, it's way more frivolous spending than it is,
because you didn't earn it.
If you didn't earn it. It's just no way other to look at it, because what I do every day, and that's why people be like, dang, you still going hard, you still in this, like you look like you still this artist still trying to come up. And it's like, because I put in so much work that I'm not stop. There's no reason for me to stop. If I was given my success to where I'm at, if I was given 1 million plus followers, I was given the notoriety for a hit single, if I was given all of this stuff and I didn't do any work for it, look at the guys who's given to. It's taken so easily that it's like, did they even have it? I know 30 rappers that had success 5 years ago, and we don't hear them today.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like
the grind.
A lot of them was given things that they weren't really ready for, and a lot of them, that's why you see people go out left, because it's like they weren't ready. Success takes a lot, because you got people who gonna love you and you got people who gonna hate you, and you got to be able to deal with both sides of the retrospect, because if not, you'll think that everybody's just supposed to love you. That's where you get the arrogant people, that's where you get the cocky people, and then somebody shut them down and they don't know how to react. So then they go out bad, and now they're in a bad situation because somebody said something wrong to them over something that was so small. It could have been something small, but to them, they took it to heart because they took where they were at in life to heart, because they're looking at it as everybody's supposed to respect them. But you got to realize, everybody don't respect what you do. Everybody don't respect that I'm an artist. Everybody don't respect that I'm a family man. I can't be mad at them for not respecting that. I can only live through what I've been through and be like, whether you respect it or not, I earned to be here. I earned to have this. You know what I mean? Everybody's giving them their flowers, everybody's not going to give you your flowers. Right. You know what I mean? Everybody's not going to respect what you do on a day-to-day basis, and that's where, if you earned it, you can respect that they not going to respect it. If you didn't earn it, you ain't going for none of that. Can't nobody tell you you ain't here, you ain't number one, you ain't the best. You can't handle that, because it comes from criticism to constructive criticism. If you earned it, it's constructive criticism. Right. If you didn't earn it and you didn't really go through everything, it just looked like criticism. Not everybody's hating on you. Not the world's against you. But it's like, the world really not against you. Everybody just don't like what you do. You know, if he a gospel type of person, he's not gonna like R&B. Right. Even if it ain't Pariah, he just doesn't like that type of music. That's where it comes to like knowing, like, if you earn something, you can know the difference from somebody loving what you do or don't love what you do. You respect it. It's constructive criticism. You're not supposed to like everything that I do. I've been rapping for over 7 years consistently, and this is the most love from this song that I've ever received. But look at all of the work that led up to it, to where now people can do research, history. Right. If I would have dropped the same song as my first song ever, it would not be the same. It would be like, he lit, but why? Right. What is behind him? How did he do this? And we all see numerous situations that we're like, he just went, where did he come from? We can't find any research on him. We can't do anything. We don't know what. We know that was given. And when you look at those people, they move completely different. You know what I'm saying? I move around sometimes with security, sometimes without security. I'm never worried about somebody on that type of level, because I've put in enough work that my name's good, my face good. Like, if something happens, it's because it happened. It's not because somebody's hating or because of this, that, or the third. It's like, this is a part of the plan. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what makes you move differently from being through that type of situation.
And I think too, another attribute to your success is your ability to do branding and marketing really well. Can we talk about this persona, the hair, the tattoos? Like, when did this start? And like, I haven't seen anybody do this, like anybody. So like, can you talk about how you thought of that part?
The hair came from like the whole phase of everybody saying that they the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, everybody's saying they the GOAT. And I'm looking at a lot of the people like, okay, if that's what y'all saying, y'all can have it. But I kind of went into it like, yo, let me live. Let me make the GOAT be real. You know what I'm saying?
But did it take you some time to get used to it, or you liked it right off the bat?
No, when I came up with it, I loved it from the beginning, because I was like, can you even do it? And when it was like, it can be done. That's when it was like, oh, we about to change the whole game. Like, when people see it, I don't care where I'm at, literally. I could be in the shopping mall. I could be in a daycare. I could be at a game. anywhere I go, the people love it.
Yeah.
The people of different ethnicities, they love it. That's what gives me more like heart. It's like, dang, I just did something that make people smile.
Yeah.
A lot of people, when they first see it, or if they don't know me, certain people will be like, oh, is them devil horns or whatever, you know what I'm saying? That's what they related to, and then they start talking to me and they see where I'm coming from, and they like, oh no, he's not on that.
Yeah.
But it's, the main thing is, did you get them to look at you? Did you get them to pay attention to you?
Yeah.
It's a billion people with dreads. We all look the same to them. When people see me, you're not saying I look the same like nobody, because it's so different. It's not only that he has dreads, he has a bunch of tattoos. Like, and I've had tattoos I haven't had a tattoo in like 10 years. So I had a full body of tattoos.
Yeah.
I think there was like a point when Lil Wayne and Wiz Khalifa didn't even have as many tattoos as me. And these are like iconic people that I watched, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I started getting tattoos in. To me, it just got so addictive that it was like, yo, I'm gonna just go crazy with it. You know what I'm saying? Why not? Because I loved it, and it leaves you a different impression. You get to look different. If you're not trying to look different, then what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Everybody doesn't have to just fit in and fall in one line. Look different, be you. You know what I'm saying? And this gives me my own appearance, my own creativity. And like you said, I have really learned how to do branding and marketing on a whole nother level, that this is just another symbol of that. It's just like, how much more can you do?
Right.
What's next type of situation?
Yeah. Okay. Is it on the memory card?
No, I was just, because you said 30 minutes.
Oh, you were saying 5.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, but on there it's still saying what?
This is 41 minutes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of iconic people, you've actually got to be in space with a lot of celebrities. Like you said, people will covet the amount of celebrities that you've been able to kind of be in contact with and in the same room with. Can you talk about maybe a story of your one of your favorite experiences interacting with somebody quote unquote famous?
My favorite experience to this date is still DMX. Like, to know DMX is something different. It's like, I watched him as a jit, like watching him, you know, perform, do music videos, do all the stuff that I'm literally doing now. And I always idolized it because he was so different. You know what I'm saying? And everything about him was so different. And to really realize, like, in person, you know, you hear a lot of people over the TV or over the music sound, and to hear his voice and to hear his sound the exact same as I heard him on tracks, that like blew my mind. But then
his
to
talking
like,
voice is his rapping
like
voice.
It's exactly the same. It's like, this was no auto tune. This was all real him. You know what I'm saying? And that's like, that was the most iconic part about it. But then to know him as a person, like, and to have like real talks with him. Now, mind you, we was on his movie set when we was doing this, and he was talking about so much intellectual and detailed experiences that he's went through as an artist, from the beginning to the end, the struggles he went through, to the struggle he still go through, to the things he had to fight off, to the things he had to overcome, and to really realize, like, this is another person that he had to do this process. We tend to see all the success. That's what they show us.
Yeah.
When I'm seeing Rough Rider videos, or I'm seeing documentaries, or I'm seeing all of this stuff about him, I only get to see this perfect painted picture of him.
Right.
Because that's what the industry painted. They didn't tell us about what he had to go through, the fights he had to go through, the things he had to do to get there, the things he had to go through as a kid. Like, you don't get to see all of that because they block most of that so that you can stay this fame. You know what I mean? So you can have this light on you.
And when you guys were actually with him, what was the time frame between when you guys saw him and when he had actually passed?
This was like 2 weeks.
Wow.
Like, we was with him his last 2 weeks.
Dang.
And to know like it was so unexpected. This is like meeting somebody that was so cool. He literally loved me from what I felt. I had his personal number. We was DMing. We was talking about doing projects. Like, it went from meeting somebody and somebody embracing you to being like, yo, you really got it. Like, why are you not here? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, let me help you get you there. And that was the talks that we started having. And it was like, I got stuff that is like, it's personal to me. It's like, I don't need to share this stuff to show people like this is the relationship me and him was building on.
Right.
And it's like, nobody could even imagine what he was planning and talking to me about. And it's like, to understand that somebody that I looked up to and idolized for so long was embracing me like that. It's like, I got people I've been around all my life that didn't embrace me the way that he was embracing me, as if he knew me all his life. You know what I'm saying? Like I was a nephew or something of his. That part of him, like, his soul was just different. You know what I'm saying? And
is there anything that you remember from your moment with him that he said that you'll keep with you forever?
he said a lot of stuff, but some of the main things was just him embracing about how much important that family was. Like, because my kids was on the set, my wife was on the set, and he was just like, yo, the way that you moving with them, like, if you just keep doing that, you gonna win. Like, you can't really lose, because it means something that a lot of people can't see. You know what I'm saying? And for him, family means a lot.
Yeah.
And people may not know that about him because you don't see DMX in that light. He never really displayed that in that type of aspect. But even if you look at from when he passed and all the people that showed up and all the people that talked about, his life was built on family. But you would never really know that if you just looked at his artistry, because they let him in a certain light. But this man was about family, you know what I'm saying? And he had his stuff together, and he really looked at life differently. And he was a church going man. He believed in God, like, and those were the things he talked about. And it was like, this isn't DMX that I know from, you know what I'm saying, from TV. It was a completely different person, and that carries with me no matter where I go. It's like, just keep doing what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? That built a better bond even with me thinking about family. Because anybody knows, like, nothing's easy. You always have hard times. You always have ups and downs. You always have disagreements. But the way he was speaking on family and how to maintain a family is like, come on, bro. If you got this far and you've been doing this and moving like this with your family, like, it's nothing that can really break that bond. And that's pretty much what I took from a lot of this stuff.
And I think that's cool, too, what you said, like, keep doing what you're doing. So, obviously, right now you're in the music industry. Can you talk a little bit about where you plan to go in your music, in music, and then kind of like a little bit of your writing process and what it takes to be you?
Yeah, where I plan to go, I'm into a lot of different stuff. I'm into real estate. I'm into stocks and crypto and vapes and just different. I'm into a lot of different branding stuff and different entrepreneurial stuff. Yeah. So with music, for me, is the reason why I'm even still doing the artist stuff is because I have a label and I want to have artists underneath the label, and I want to do a whole label situation to where I have put artists on and give them the green lights and play that role, because the music for me is a passion. You know what I'm saying? So even if I'm not making money from it, I'm doing it. Right. The money part came with it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if you do something so long, people understand how to pay you for it, or people understand your asset ability in it. So music for me is more of one of them things that I don't think I'm ever gonna stop doing. I just want it to keep getting bigger. I want to turn it into movies, into a company that facilitates things like how a Universal, how a Epic, how a Sony does it, because I think that it can get that big. Yeah. I don't even think, I know it can, because they're already doing it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the same way we look at a Tyler Perry in the movie, that's kind of how I'm trying to be in the music. You know what I'm saying? And there's people that we look up to like Jay-Z or people in that area, but I honestly know I'm gonna do it bigger than they're doing it, and
Whoa.
they've done it. Like,
Whoa.
that's the type of time that I'm on.
Okay.
So it's just like,
That's dope.
it's about keeping my steps. You know what I'm saying? Keep following my path, and before you know it, it'll happen. Is
Yeah.
it gonna happen tomorrow? No. Is it gonna happen 5 years from now? No. It may take my whole life like it's taking his whole life. He's still in it the same way. You know what I'm saying? And until his time comes and goes, he's still in it. So
Yeah.
I'm still shooting at that same goal. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't have a LeBron James without a Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, without a Kobe Bryant. All
Yeah.
these are stages, and you gotta have these iconic people ahead of you to
Right.
set the bar. They set the bar. Only thing I can do is overachieve the bar by doing what I keep doing, being consistent.
Can you talk to that too, like as we get ready to close, for people who maybe want to do what you're doing, or who are already in your industry but are discouraged for whatever reason to not really put music out? Can you speak to the importance of like continuing to follow your dreams, and the difference between thinking and knowing of what you're
Yeah.
supposed to do?
The biggest thing is knowing that there's going to be a lot of doubts, and a lot of people will put their doubts onto you. People will tell you can't do this, people will tell you can't do that, but it's because they don't believe that they can do it. Because if a man could jump over the rim, he would never tell you couldn't do it, because he's done it.
Right.
But if they've never done it and they don't think they can do it, it's so easy for them to be like, I don't know if you could do that. I think everybody listening, watching in this, even in this room, have heard someone tell them there was something they couldn't do, and then they did it, and they was like, why did they tell me I couldn't do it? It's just because they put their own doubts onto you, and it's up to you to decide if you're going to accept those doubts or not. And I never accept none of the doubts. People told me I couldn't rap. People told me I wouldn't do a lot of the things that I'm doing today. People said I'll never get a hit. People said I'll never be famous. People said I'll never have 1 million followers.
Wow.
People told me a lot of different things, but it's like, that was cool. That just was fuel to me being like, let me show you, and then let's rehab this conversation and talk about why you said it couldn't happen. And 90% of it is because they've never done it, so they don't believe that it
they're
can be
mentally
done.
they can't think that far or that big or that wide. So that's
Definitely.
dope. Can you before we close, I like the hook. Live in the moment. Can you give us the
Definitely.
hook real quick?
Definitely. Granny, we made it. We popping bottles, we counting this money, we standing on tables. Ooh, go get a lifeguard, I'm drowning in blue, somebody come save 'em. Feel like the greatest, ooh, I know I would make it. It's your life, you're a superstar, shawty, live in the moment. Live in the moment,
Hey,
live in the moment.
I love
Yeah.
it. Thank you. Thank you
Nah,
so
it's-
much for being on. If people want to work with you or see what you got going on, if people want to learn how to live in their moment with you, how can they do that?
Y'all can reach me pretty much anywhere and everywhere. If you got social media, if you got the internet, you just need the internet. You can find me if you got the internet. I'm everywhere. Like,
you got the
I don't
internet.
care where you at in the world. If you got the internet, that's all you gotta have. So pay your monthly bill, and you can find me, because I'm not hiding nowhere. I'm always everywhere you want to be, and I'm outside. And my Instagram is MPR_Riche_Rich, and that's on all streaming platforms. You can find me at the same thing, TikTok, WhatsApp, if you want to just hit me up, just because I don't know.
WhatsApp?
Whatever.
WhatsApp?
You know what I'm saying?
Group me?
Like, group me. Anywhere. Like, I'm streaming on every platform. I'm everywhere. And
Music too, on everything?
yeah, everything. Like, if you can't find me, you ain't looking. Straight up. Like, that's how that go. And then I wanted to get back to your question about the writing process. And
Okay,
things
yes,
of that
yes.
nature. When y'all see somebody like me and y'all look at what's going on and y'all trying to figure out, like, how does it go? What does it do? Like, my writing process, I get in my creative moments, like, at different times. It may not be the same time. When I hear something that I like, it triggers a spot in me to be like, yo, I want to write.
Yeah.
And when I'm writing, like, I'm a realistic type of rapper. I don't just make music just saying anything. So if you really listen to any of my music, you can hear like everything about my lifestyle.
Yeah.
99% of my music is all facts. Like, I don't cap too much in my rap. Like, some things may be a little exaggerated here and there, but if it was a little exaggerated, it was more to the
like
lines
creative
of what,
liberty.
yeah, it was like,
Yeah.
I was hitting on what already is going on, just taking it bigger. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, that's a part of what makes me. You know what I'm saying? People be like, yo, you should just, I can't just make dumb rap. Like,
Right.
that's not just me.
Yeah.
So if you're listening and you're listening for the reason to be listening to me for, which is reality, you're getting nothing but that. Like,
reality.
I'm not giving you no bubblegum rap. I'm not giving you no unrealistic stuff that I ain't never done or never will do. If I say I'm in Paris shopping, you better believe I'm either planning to go to Paris or I've been there. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, that's where people like always be like, yo, what's this? It's like, I'm not giving you nothing that I wouldn't do or I haven't done. If I'm saying it, it's
either
some
happened
truth
or
to
it's
it.
about to happen.
And that's where you get me at today. Like, and I had made a song maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, and I was saying like 10K for a feature. And when I was saying this song, like, that's what I was envisioning for myself. And that reality came into reality, but people was like, you dropped this song now, but I didn't drop it
So
back
you've been
then.
manifesting this whole time.
The whole time, you know what I'm
Wow.
saying? And it's like, people don't speak their own reality into
Yep.
existence, so
Yep.
it never exists. I'm a big energy person, a big speaking things into existing person. If you don't live like that, then I understand, but that's a part of my writing, that's a part of my existing here. Like, I like to speak things into existence. I told myself I was going to be doing these things, and I'm doing it. I told myself I was going to have a wife, and I was going to love her, and I was going to love my family, and I'm doing it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm big on standing on my word. If I'm saying I'm going to do something, 99.9% of the time I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
That 0.1
Yeah.
that I don't do it is because it might have slipped my mind or I forgot.
Right.
But I'm not intentionally leading people to the dark. It's like, that's not what I'm here for. So if you're looking for reality and empowerment and how to be successful and how to live in the moment, you can come check me out.
Hey, there it is. You're living in the moment. Again, MPR Riche Rich, thank you so much
Appreciate
for
y'all
coming
too.
on the show today. I just really wish you continued success and blessings as you continue to rise and grind and empower and motivate all at the same time. So
That's what I'm
I'll
here
be
for.
watching you because I got the internet. So
Hey,
gonna
as
be
long as
watching
you
you.
got the internet, you good. I ain't gonna lie to you. Don't
right.
ever lose the internet, or you might lose me. You might run into me. I'm gonna be like, "Was you watching my?" You ain't got the internet, so you probably
Yeah.
don't even know where I'm at.
yeah, moral of the story: get the internet.
Get the internet, cause we all over it.
All right, and we out of here. Peace.
Peace.